I'd like to call this City Council meeting on February 18th, 2025 to order. We'll have roll call, starting with Councilmember Callahan.
Callahan here.
Dennis here.
Frazier here.
Kaznowski here.
Gibson here.
Swain here.
Love here.
The mayor, unfortunately, is in the emergency room right now. And the mayor also did hear from Councilmember Rodriguez. He is traveling via work. Do I have a motion to excuse?
I make a motion that we excuse both of them.
Councilman Dennis makes a motion. Councilman Callahan seconds. Councilman Dennis?
Dennis, yes?
Frazier, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes.
Chief went to visit with the mayor, and he's going to give us a few comments on what he knows.
Good evening. I went down to visit with her. I did not see her. However, I was outside of her room, and I could hear her visiting with the doctors and nursing staff, and as she is, and she sounded good. And her daughter relayed some information, which, you know, but hopefully she will be doing fine. And they were in the prep. I got there maybe 10 minutes after she got there. So, but nonetheless, just keep her in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Chief. If you would all please bow your heads and let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this glorious day and the many blessings you grant each and every day, and for allowing us to gather together here. Please bless, protect, and watch over our town. Be present with us here, dear Lord, and help us make sound decisions for our citizens within this great city of Elgin, in the present and looking towards the future. Lord, please bless Amy Miller as she moves on and does great things. Thank you for allowing us to have her for 28 years. And Lord, please be with the mayor. Please put your blessings and your healing hand upon her. Please forgive us of our many sins and get us all home safely this evening. Please continue to guide and direct us to your glory. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor
The Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Start getting that damn light back.
We're going to go out at 6:33 for our first public hearing. This is a public hearing on an ordinance annexing adjacent and contiguous territory to the city of Elgin, Texas, to wit, being a 4.909 acre tract of land, more or less, lying in and being situated out of the Elizabeth Standifer Survey, abstract number 59, in Bastrop County, Texas, Bastrop County Appraisal District, parcel number 99528, including adjacent right-of-way and portion of Swenson Boulevard, and being fully described in Exhibit A, attached hereto, and providing for a savings clause and repealing conflicting ordinances and resolutions. Do we have anybody signed up to speak for this public hearing? We'll close it at 6:34. We'll come back in at 6:34 with our second public hearing. An ordinance annexing adjacent and contiguous territory to the city of Elgin, Texas, to wit, being a 23.914 acre tract of land, more or less, lying in and being situated out of the Elizabeth Standifer Survey, abstract number 59, in Bastrop County, Texas, Bastrop County Appraisal District, parcel number 39675, and being fully described in Exhibit A, attached hereto, and providing for a savings clause and repealing conflicting ordinances and resolutions. Anybody here to speak with that public hearing? We'll go out of that public hearing at 6:35 and go on to our third public hearing. Public hearing on an ordinance amending the official map of the city of Elgin, Texas, adopted in Chapter 46, Section 46-3, Revised Code of Ordinances, City of Elgin, Texas, 2013, and making this amendment a part of said official zoning map, to wit, to rezone to PDD, Planned Development District, the properties known by Bastrop Appraisal District as parcel numbers 39675 and 99528, totaling 28.823 acres, more or less, out of the Elizabeth Standifer Survey, Abstract 59, in Bastrop County, Texas, said tracts being more described in Exhibits A and B, and providing for a savings clause and repealing conflicting ordinances and resolutions. Do we have anybody here that wants to speak on that public hearing? With nobody speaking, we'll close that out at 6:36. Now we'll move on to public comment. Remember that speaker comments are limited to 3 minutes. No formal action can be taken by the city council on items not posted on the agenda. Items requiring a public hearing will allow a member of the public an opportunity to speak during the public hearing and does not require a public comment form. I have one public comment form, Miss Crystal Marks.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for everything that you do for our community. Once again, I'm standing before you to say thank you. We are gearing up for Relay for Life in Elgin, Texas, happening in April. This will be our 20th year to Relay in Elgin, Texas. Supported the city, and we're delighted to have so many members of the city council who are active and a part of that. Look at this side over here. But also just a personal note about that. Yesterday, I read a news report that said that since 1991, the incidence of cancer death after diagnosis has decreased by 34%. 34 years ago yesterday, my grandfather lost his battle to stupid cancer. I was pregnant with my son at the time, his first great-grandchild. So I look at what has happened in my son's life. That's 34% more multi-generational gatherings, that's 34% more hugs and loves and laughter, and that's 34% more good days. So while cancer continues to be a beast and it continues to hit too many people, it's because of you all and our community and what communities just like us all over the world are doing that's making that difference and supporting the people who have the power to make those changes. So just want to go on record officially as saying just absolutely thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, and thank you, Krista, for all that you do.
No more pies in the face. That's it.
Oh, we're not doing that this year.
Is that all? Okay, next up is a presentation, the Chamber of Commerce Annual Report to Council, Ms. Veronica Seaver.
Krista, you're a little taller. First and foremost, I owe all of you an apology. I was on the agenda last council meeting. I believe in accountability, and I will be honest, I completely missed that email between the move and being all the things going on. So I apologize to each of y'all for that. And I appreciate y'all allowing me to move it to today. So this is the first time that I have done this with the chamber, but really, we're going to talk about 2024. The Elgin First membership is partners within the community that we are really proud to have, that they spend more money in membership to help boost us and allow us to bring classes and events and different things to town. And this number has significantly increased. When I started 2.5 years ago, we had 4 companies in the top level. We had like 5 in the second level and maybe 5 on the bottom. So we are very proud of the businesses who have really stepped up to help support the chamber even more. We are sitting at 317 members at the end of 2024. The Elgin First, 33 of them, nonprofits, 61. That's been a big push for the chamber to get nonprofits involved because we really feel like we can help them with promoting and being involved in their organization and their events. And then obviously regular businesses, 162 of those, but you see the breakdown. Social media activity, in 2024, we had 465,000 views, a reach of 220,000, visits 32,000, new followers 620, and we ended the year with a total of 5,433 views. Again, another really positive thing about our social media for our businesses is a lot of chambers will not post any of their businesses stuff that they have going on, whether it's events or promotion or whatever. And our chamber has chosen to allow 1 slot per day for any business that is a chamber member to help promote them, and it has really been successful. Chamber events in 2024. We had 10 membership meetings, 37 ribbon cuttings, 2 Hype Helping Young Professionals of Elgin, 3 coffee and card swaps, after hours, sip, shop, and stroll events that have been really popular, our She Women in Business group. So we have stayed very busy with the events. Education, that's been a big push for the Elgin Chamber. We really want to provide all of our businesses with classes that are going to actually help them in the today that they have, because we all know that we have a lot of new businesses coming in, and so we think it's important to give them the step up, because no offense if there's a Starbucks here, but if we can keep a local coffee shop going because they can equally provide the same service as a Starbucks, we think that's important. So we had lots of different types of training courses. I would say the most popular was our Managing Multi-Generation class. A lot of businesses actually ended up having me go to their business to do it just for their leadership classes or their leadership team as well. So we were very proud of all of the classes that we had this year. Partnership, or Elgin ISD partnership, the chamber does the Stuff the Bus, where we do a big school supply drive. We do the teacher swag bags. We started Meet the Wildcats when I came on, so 3 years ago. And then it's not really downtown now, but the community homecoming pep rally, and that still happened. So we are really proud of the partnership we have with the school. Chamber collaborations. We have worked with a lot of chambers this year, and we're really excited. We have the Manor Elgin Taylor, Texas group that we did a community and conversation conference with. Bastrop, Elgin, Smithville, Texas. And then Manor, they lost their chamber president this year. She passed away a few months ago, so I stepped in for them for about 6 months to help keep them afloat while they were working on finding someone new and doing that. And then the other chambers, they just asked us to come and help do trainings. We did board trainings, we did trainings, leadership trainings, and so I really enjoyed working with other chambers and seeing that they are appreciating what we're doing here in Elgin. Outside of Elgin, we've just been really involved. We've really tried this year to move, not just promoting our chamber in Elgin and our city in Elgin, but going outside of the city limits and promoting us there. And in return, that's really helped. We've had members that have joined from Pflugerville, from Cedar Park, from Manor, from Bastrop. And so we're trying to remember that promotion and tourism is very important here, yes, but it is just as important for us to promote outside of our community to get people to come here. As most people know, I have put in my resignation at the chamber, and so I have 2.5 weeks. March 6th is my last day. But because we have not announced our new chamber president, we will be announcing that in the next couple of days. Timeline-wise, yes, March 6th is still going to be my last date, but they won't be starting until March 3rd, and that's not much training. So I'm gonna still stick around and be around to help get them, make sure we have a smooth transition. And then changes for 2025. A lot of you joined us for our grand opening at the new chamber. I really think it's going to be just an absolute game changer for us. The visibility and just the space is really fantastic. And so we'll be at that new Main Street location. We have a new visitor sign-in book, and this is to help with the new reporting that y'all would like us to do, where we're asking them, where are you from, what have you visited, just getting deeper into the visits that are here. We have welcome bags that have swag from businesses, so when they walk in, they get to walk away with something right away. The Sip, Shop, and Stroll events will be at our location. That's been a challenge for us since we've been doing it. It's been great to partner with people, but then we always have to close early, and so we're going to be able to do a lot more in-house, which is going to help the chamber not having to close and leave for that. We'll obviously have the new chamber president. We're going to have a swag store. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but there is nowhere in Elgin to get things that are Elgin. And so we think it's important not only as a visitor center to be promoting Elgin items, but also a way to help us make a little extra money. So we're going to do that. And starting this Saturday, we will be open from 9 to 12 on Saturdays. And again, that's just to help, with the visitors. I know it's not a full day or anything, but it should at least help in those mornings, especially the not so cold mornings when people are out downtown walking around. We'll be open so that we can help answer questions. Our board of directors, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will. I want to acknowledge the executive team. Our chair this year is Stacy Gretzner with Acme Brick. We have past chair Candace Lundry, Chair-elect Erica Greenfield, Treasurer Noble Smith, and appointed is Dr. Jana Ritter with Elgin ISD. We're very excited about our board. We think we have a really fantastic board that has a lot of input to give, but also that are willing to do the work that we need when you're just an office of two trying to pull off some of the things that we try to pull off. And that's what I got for y'all.
Great job.
Thank you. That it? We good?
Anybody have any questions? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And now we'll move on to the city manager's report. City Manager Turner.
Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council, again, thank you for this opportunity to serve the Elgin community. Just a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to allow the city secretary to share some information with you, and then Pam and I will do our little song and dance.
Okay, so can you hear me? So for the election coming up, we will be calling a special meeting to certify that there were 2 unopposed candidates and go ahead and cancel those elections. So we will be in touch probably tomorrow to get that called. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Should be a very short meeting with 2 items on the agenda, so very short. Secondly, Pam and I are going to talk with you about the upcoming budget season. Typically, at this time, we would like to give you an update on where we're at in the first quarter, which means how our expenditures are looking and how our revenues are looking. And while that's not it's a guide, it's a gauge, but it's not anything concrete because you only have the first quarter typically by this point, but at least we want to start that. We're not in a position to do that, but we will be in the next couple of months to be able to share with you revenues versus expenditures. As much forecasting as we can do, it won't be that accurate because of some changes you made in the way you do taxes. However, at this time, we want to share with you the budget calendar. And we want to do something that was a brainchild of mine. We want to get some ideas for guidelines for the budget process. The charter charges the city manager to recommend the budget to the council, so I'm not asking you for recommendations on the budget because I have to do that to you and you all make the decisions. But I am asking you for thoughts that you have about the upcoming budget. I've already received one from Councilmember Kalinowski in terms of making sure that we're considering what's supposed to happen with our EMS services. So that's an example. Just throwing out some ideas that you all have in your mind that you think are important for us to be looking at, considering as we develop the budget. If you have nothing, that's okay. But if you have something, please share it with us, communicate it with us. And so we'll do that now. So she'll do the budget calendar. That'll give you an opportunity to do some thinking and everything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Saunders, please.
Good evening. I'm not sure which part of this you want me to go over, but we're looking at presenting the budget to council for the first time about a month ahead of time from what we've done in the past, to give a little bit more time for us to go through each of the departments and ensure that we've covered everything in your guidelines. We're looking at several workshops that we've put in there. They're all tentative based on what council's needs are. And CIP would be proposed in July.
We want to make sure you saw the calendar and got the dates for the budget workshop, in case you're like me and try to, or have someone plan your vacations and those sorts of things, and you just need to show up. We just want to make sure you had that information for yourself. Any questions about the budget calendar?
So I'm just looking, so is July 1 the first time the budget will be presented? Am I reading that correctly?
I'm sorry, I'm not looking at that. Pam, do you have that?
Yes. It may not be the budget, hold on. It keeps rotating on me. Yes, proposed budget. That's tentative, based on where we're at in that process. But yes, we're looking at in July.
Typically, what we will do at that time is hand you the budget document and briefly go over it. I would then appreciate an opportunity if council members would make themselves available to be able to talk with you individually about the budget and what's in it and what's not in there and that whole bit.
Oh, okay, so I'm looking, I think I'm looking at it right. So where it says council work session, this is be ours, so then it's June 24th, but the rest of these, starting from March through May 12th, is just the departments?
Correct.
Okay, so
Yes.
not council, so, okay, March,
So council starts in June.
June. Okay.
And the work sessions are on the off weeks from meetings.
I see that, okay.
So June will be the binder that we get that has the
That'll be the
the 5-year
CIP.
plan.
Yes.
Anybody have any other questions? Sounds like we'll be having some meetings, and that's a good
Yeah.
thing.
I guess I have one question. I was going to ask it here or when we get to the community services director position. But how, without that position in place right now, how are budgets coming together from, or how are items being submitted?
I will chat with you all about it relative to my performance.
Anybody else?
We know that the EMS issue is going to be a major issue to be dealt with this summer and this fall. Are there any other items that you think we need to include in our consideration for a recommendation of the budget? And you can certainly feel free to share those with me by email if you don't have anything right now, but you want to bring those up later on.
That was gonna be my question. Can we email you if we come up with,
Absolutely,
Thing.
absolutely.
you know, every time we walk out of here, we got about 5 items.
Understood, understood.
Just an announcement on the EMS front. I talked with City Manager Turner, the mayor, myself, and Isaac met with Acadian. And we have also spoken with the ESD 3 representative, Keith Simpson. We are planning city manager was okay. I talked to him about that. Councilmember Love, Councilmember Callahan, y'all are in the little subcommittee with myself. I think we're going to be planning a workshop, and we'll bring in Mr. Simpson, the Acadian representatives back again. It's going well.
Okay.
Just, we'll have a series of meetings and we'll keep the council up to date. So if anybody thinks we're not doing anything, I promise that's not the case.
When will we be looking to set up that workshop?
Very soon.
Okay.
We'll see where the mayor, what happens
Right,
with the mayor,
yes.
and then we want to start that
Okay.
soon. Anybody else have any other questions about the budget? You done? What's your updates?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. We're gonna, that's okay.
Excuse me, there's one other item. The council at the last meeting instructed us to set up a strategic planning session. You all have a very colorful chart here and tables. So if you wouldn't mind taking a look at that over the next couple of days and letting us know what your availability are, and then we can compile those, be able to set up a strategic planning session.
Do we all get one of them?
Email.
Email.
You need a hard copy?
Yes.
Speaking to the mic, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I absolutely. will.
Oh,
Wow,
speak
that's-
and pull your mic closer.
That's high tech there. We can give you a hard copy.
Yep, go and pass that down, pass that down.
All right. And those will be either two sessions, 2 nights of about 3 to 4 hours each, or one Saturday. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait, let's go back one. Do we pick a date from these?
You share all of the dates that you are available.
Okay.
You ever
And
done a
when we
doodle
get-
poll? It's like old school doodle.
Oh, the circle what I'm, okay, got you, because. The idea was that you would circle it. Thank you, because I was wondering, y'all just taking my whole little. Okay,
It's a challenge to coordinate activities for 9 folks.
so we're gonna go with majority wins?
We're going to try to get 9. It's important that we get 9 if we can at all do that. I can't say we won't have it if we can't get all 9, but it's important that we get all 9. You are the people that have the vision for the community, and that's what you do. That's not what I do. I help you enact the vision.
No, this is extremely important, and so we need
Yeah.
to do our very, very best for everybody to come together, if it's on a Saturday, to do that and get this
Peyton,
done.
mine is done.
You got all the times?
Yes, except for 2.
All right. We'll move on to the consent agenda. I would like to bring council's attention to item number 23. I would like to pull that. Councilmember Dennis has asked that he finish out his term through May and the election on the EDC. So I would like, if somebody would make a motion to table that line, and then whenever we see the new council, then we'll accept nominations and fill that seat.
Move.
Councilmember Swain makes a motion to table.
I'll second.
Councilmember Love seconds. Any other discussion? Councilmember Swain?
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes. Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Okay. Does anybody want to pull anything else from items 1 through 22? If nobody wants to pull anything, I'll accept a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the consent items as is.
Do I have a
I'll second.
Love makes the motion. Kozanowski is the second. Councilmember Love?
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes. Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Can I just mention something? A question came up recently about the Depot District and the status of it and all of the fun, exciting parties we've got coming up in Elgin this year. And before Amy takes off, could you just provide maybe an update of where, or Christina, I'm sorry, I didn't see you in the background. Kind of just, I think I know where it's at, but I think it could be helpful maybe for the public to know, especially seeing these open container waivers to know too where the Depot District stands, so.
The Depot District will be launched April 1st. We just finalized the logo, and we're starting the education piece and the window clings that will go out, so you will see that launched officially April 1st. And look for that coming soon.
Awesome.
But y'all know to follow Visit Elgin TX for all the fun things downtown. And sign
We
up
know
for
to
your-
follow Elgin TX, visit
Right.
Elgin TX.
Visit Elgin TX and sign
Visit
up for
Elgin
the,
TX.
and
I'm
sign
saying
up
it
for the
3 times.
city newsletter, please.
Thank you, Christina.
That does not sway you from the comment section and announcements at the end. Don't leave.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
So along that line, just another question. So with the Depot District, is it necessary then for us to approve open container, or is this open container a separate thing than what's available in the Depot District?
It's my understanding, because I asked this question on Saturday when it came up at the Ward 1 and 2 meetings, that some of these items are not contained within the Depot District. And then the Depot District, I believe, also stipulates certain types of containers, whereas these, I think, are all open containers, but I will turn it over to Elizabeth.
Joy did a really good job, and tonight you just get all of the community services department at your beck and call. It's pretty amazing, right? So Joy's correct. Some of them are not contained within the Depot District, since that is just a downtown area. The Depot District also has some constraints on where you can purchase the alcohol. So for things like music in the park, where you're allowed to bring your own, that would need an alcohol waiver instead of being included in the Depot District.
All right, thank you.
I had the same question. I was like, wait, what happened? So,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Everybody's good with everything else? Any other questions? All right, moving on to new business. The Charter Review Committee. Mr. Schrader.
Evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, City Manager. So tonight, I think we've essentially got the committee selected with a few tweaks that we're working on, but what I'm coming to you tonight for is a charge for that charter committee. And so as we discussed last week, our last meeting, this can be just a general charge to review the legal and policy elements of the charter, or you can direct them to look more closely at certain areas. I would caution you don't want to overly influence that committee, but you can make sure, hey, these are areas you want you to take a close look at. I think the mayor was kind of coordinating with council to get some of those items, and I don't know with today if that's something that she was able to communicate with you, Mayor Pro Tem, or not, but.
She was not, but I sent one thing in, and she was compiling a list. And we can certainly get that to you first.
Yes, I did not receive that from the mayor. She was kind of coordinating all that. So this may be something we may need to table and come back if the council has some specific items, unless we want to just talk about those. I think it's good the council does take action to approve those items and not just send them independently.
So,
I think we have a list there, I guess.
No, maybe I didn't.
We've got a little list, but I'd like for the review guys to.
Okay.
We got a little list, but I'd like for the.
Okay, so I guess the mayor prepared this list.
And Mark, I apologize. This was a compilation of what was sent to the mayor, and the mayor got with the city secretary to kind of compile this information here.
So you should have this, does everyone have a copy of this? So everyone can take a look at this. If we want to include this into the charge along with a general review, that is something we can do, or if we want to tweak this in any way, that's up to council, so I'll open that up for discussion.
Council, you have the items in front of you. Does anybody have any discussion?
Is this all of them?
This was all that came back from you all. You remember that the attorney that's working with the charter has also made some revisions
Right.
previously.
Correct. So that, the legal review would be part of this as well, so. So it looks like we've just got some from Councilmember Kozlowski, and then one from Mayor Pro Tem.
That's why I was asking that, because I know I sent a couple.
We certainly can, if we want to table this until the mayor gets back, or until, if you had something that you wanted to put on there.
Let me go to my email.
I think if we, I don't know, can we share what we have tonight? But just because I know a lot of the charter committee members are here tonight, I would hate to be like, just kidding, come back another night.
That's fine, if we want to start the discussion tonight and then come back at the next meeting to finalize, there's no, we've got time, we're okay
Yeah.
on time, but if you want to go ahead and let everybody start thinking about this and come back.
Because one other thing occurred to me after I submitted mine. I don't think in our charter, we stipulate how a charter committee comes together.
That's correct, or even the requirement, I believe, so. yeah.
So that might be another consideration, is how that comes together and,
Right, so I could look at something out, requirement for formation, guidelines for a charter committee, yes or no, and how would that look like if yes?
Well, I've got a few things, but I was gonna give it to my charge. They're just little things. I don't wanna direct it. I just want you to look at it. So
Yeah.
we can talk about it, or I can just give it to them to do it. It's nothing big.
I would suggest we can start with this list, and then we take this week to, add to, and then finalize it in the next meeting.
We'll send it in.
That work? Yes, ma'am.
Right, so did everybody hear the suggestion?
Start with the list and then send it in.
Then we can go back and make sure that everybody has
So-
theirs included, and then bring it back as a completely compiled list the next meeting.
Right, I would recommend you get it to the mayor maybe this week, and then mayor, city secretary can circulate those, so everybody has a chance to look over those for a little time, and then come back. And again, we want these to be things that are not areas to take a look at, not necessarily like recommendations, because you don't want to overly influence that committee. But, so that's kind of what I think the mayor's looking for on this.
If we could set that hard deadline on Friday, that would help the information to get distributed.
I'll make that motion if it needs to be made.
Need a motion?
Mayor Pro Tem.
I was looking at the date, so the
Okay.
21st.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, I make a motion that we all finalize our input by the 21st and get it to the mayor, so that the mayor will be able to compile it, circulate it, and then we can consider a full list to include these things at the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion by Dennis and a second by Gibson. Any other discussion? I would also like to add in that when you send it to the mayor, that you also copy the city secretary. That way, if the mayor is out of commission for whatever reason, I can help step in. Councilman Dennis?
Dennis, yes?
Frazier, yes.
Kozlowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes.
And motion passes. Item number 2, under new business, discussion and possible action for search firms related to city manager search.
There were 3 different brochures included in your packet. Brochures on some and a flyer on another. We are looking for the direction you want us to go in moving forward and selecting a firm to initiate an agreement. I did begin the reference check process today with different cities who have used all of these, and I am waiting to hear back. I've heard back from Taylor. They were satisfied with Affion on their recent search, and I've got a few others out there that I'm waiting to hear back on.
Taylor was satisfied with both the finance director, which is a recent placement, and one of the reasons we wanted to use them for finance. They were satisfied with that, as well as an ACM position that they've done. I have participated or been watched SGR perform a myriad of placements, both in terms of Hutto, in terms of Leander, and the communities have been satisfied with those placements there too. Both of these firms have a lot of experience throughout the country, but in particular have done recent appointments in Texas and has done extremely well. I think Pam is a little bit more familiar with the third firm. Is that
Baker Tilly? Mhm.
Yeah, I've done a couple things with them.
I'm not familiar with them in the term of this side of recruitment. They are a very large firm. They use different techniques, much like Affion and SGR, but I've not dealt with anybody in terms of having them recruit for us directly.
And again, we can't recommend a firm, ethically can't recommend a firm to you, but I think it's sufficient to say you're going to probably have a staff member to help coordinate, which typically is HR. You may choose to do differently, but I think Pam would be comfortable with either SGR or Affion. I will keep my nose out of it. The only thing I would ask the council to allow me to do is to help make sure that whichever firm you choose stays on schedule.
So were y'all able to all look over the 3 firms?
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with the staff's recommendations or inputs with the 3 firms, the 3 positions they put out there. SGR, Finian, and then SGR for sure.
I think they're asking
Yeah,
us to pick one.
To pick one for the city manager position.
May I be clear? And thank you, Councilmember Swain. On the city manager, we're asking you which one you want to pick or select. If you want staff to select one, we can certainly do that, but we thought that council would select that. On the finance director, we're recommending Affion, again, because they've recently done some finance searches, and I'm hopeful that they have some people in the pool that we might be able to take advantage of. On the community services director, we are recommending, and this is different from what was in your package, I apologize, I had a miscommunication with Ms. Saunders. We're recommending SGR to you for the community services director position. Okay, so you choose on the first one, or tell us to choose. The finance director, we're recommending Affion, and the community services director, we're suggesting SGR.
I think personally, I would feel more comfortable making that decision once we hear back from all 3 search firms in terms of the references of who they've recruited recently, and kind of the process and their satisfaction.
Understood. At least on SGR and Affion's website, they share with you recent recruitments. And I believe Affion had a letter of satisfaction from, or notes, little comments from
They did.
people. And so that's some for them, and we can, and I did talk with the contacts I had regarding SGR. I have not spoken with anybody from Baker Tilly at all.
But SGR, you spoke to somebody directly?
Yes.
And then the Affion was just online comment?
Okay, so
No.
SGR spoke with somebody directly. Affion, I spoke with someone directly.
Okay, there you
And, on, I have to kind of bite my tongue because this is a whole different day in terms of recruitment and employment and stuff. And Pam will tell you, which is why she's laughing, Pam will tell you that I'm adjusting to it. So apparently, when people go get jobs now, to a large degree, they want it kept secret. And, which is good, I guess, from the employee's perspective, but for those of us who are searching for quality employees and would like to get somebody's finalist list so that we don't have to hire somebody, not that we're being cheap, we're just trying to be efficient. People are very cautious about sharing information, I guess. So I have talked directly with Taylor. I guess I can say that. Hopefully they still talk to me. And they've hired 2 recent positions, and they're pleased with the folks and that they've gotten. And again, the Leander thing was probably a year and a half old or something like that. They were very pleased with the work that SGR did for them. So, and
Then I can say that I actually have worked with SGR before, and they did really a great job whenever I worked with them.
SGR was my top pick based off reviews from other cities. I apologize if this was already answered. Could we use one firm for both searches, or, okay.
Affion offers a discount for multiple positions.
how much was the discount?
They didn't tell me.
Tell them they're trying to keep it a secret.
They just said discount for multiple positions.
So, and then just, because this is all kind of connected with that point, so can you guys just share a little bit? So it sounds like the reason we want to use Affion for the finance director is because they just did this in Taylor.
Yes.
Yes, they've
And-
done a couple searches for finance director people within like the last year and a half.
Okay. And then why SGR for community services director?
2 things. One, not being able to guess where you all would go and not wanting them all with the same firm and get bogged down with anything because they're doing so much work for us. Not just a sense that it would be better to use another firm, because it's my guessing, crystal ball, there may be one firm that does 2 of them. I was a little concerned about one firm doing 3 of them.
Got
So I
it.
can't-
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I think that for whatever reason, if we're gonna look at Affion for the finance director, that we use them for the city manager as well. 'Cause, those are both critical positions, and to get one firm to be able to, not that, the communication isn't, but, I just think that I like the level of detail that Affion gives in their brochure and all that. Just a little more detail oriented, what it looks like to me.
Okay, we are on discussion item number 2 for the city manager search. Do I have a motion from anybody for that vendor?
I'll make a motion that we use SGR. We've had good luck with them in the past.
Are we using it for both, for
Just
one?
one.
We're
Just one
gonna
at
do
a time.
one
One at
and
a
one,
time?
so we're
Okay.
gonna stay one and one. So, Councilmember Swain has made a motion for SGR. Do I have a second?
I second.
So Councilmember Love, second. Any other discussion on line 2, which is city manager search? We'll go for a vote. Councilmember Swain?
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Kellyanne, yes. Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes?
So I was gonna try and follow the order of operations here, and, because I was gonna second what Forrest said, so. I guess
When you said second, what Forrest said, you were going for
yeah, for
Affion.
Affion.
We're gonna stay in the vote here.
It's okay.
Okay, Kaznowski, no.
Gibson, no.
Okay, so that's 6, 4, and 2 against. Motion passes. On line item number 3, this is discussion and possible action regarding the executive search firm for finance director.
Again, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council, we are recommending for finance that Affion be chosen to lead that search.
Discussion?
I'd
make
make a motion that we follow the lead of the staff.
I have a motion by Dennis. Do I have a second? I have a second by Swain. Any other discussion? Councilmember Dennis.
Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Kellyanne, yes.
Motion passes unanimously. For new business number 4, discussion and possible action regarding the executive search firm for community services director. City Manager?
We would recommend SGR for that search.
I'll make a motion to accept SGR as the firm.
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Kaznowski, seconded by Love. Any other discussion? Councilmember Kaznowski?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Kellyanne, yes. Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes. Motion passes unanimously. New business number 5, an ordinance annexing adjacent and contiguous territory to the city of Elgin, Texas, to wit being a 4.909 acre tract of land, more or less, lying in and being situated out of the Elizabeth Standifer Survey, abstract number 59, in Bastrop County, Texas, Bastrop County Appraisal District, parcel number 99528, including adjacent right-of-way and portion of Swenson Boulevard, and being fully described in Exhibit A, attached hereto, and providing for a savings clause and repealing conflicting ordinances and resolutions. Mr. Perry.
Yes, Council. So you had public hearing on this earlier. The next 4 items all related to one singular development that's proposed to come in. As typical with our normal orders, we have the annexations and the dedication to the ward, and then we have the PDD. The annexations are contingent upon the PDD being approved by council, should you guys choose to vote that way. But this is one of the 2 tracks. For those who are unfamiliar with the particular area, the Public Works Building on Swenson Boulevard. This is the tract that's directly behind that. It extends over to the east to the wastewater treatment plant. It extends to the south until it touches the Trinity Ranch. What's unique about this, we have discussed with the county. They are willing to surrender the roadway for that right-of-way stretch. So essentially, the city limits would extend, and it would include the roadway, not only just the parcel of land, but basically, if you've been out there on Swenson Boulevard, right up to Trinity Ranch, where they have the big sign crossing the road, that's essentially where the new city limits would be on the roadway itself. Currently, city limits ends right there at the Public Works building, basically along the back edge of it, for those who didn't know that already. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Council?
They gave us that land for free, right?
There's no charge.
I'm just saying.
We did not purchase it.
Everybody charging for things nowadays.
No other discussion?
Do you know, yeah, sorry, is there a builder identified?
We will get to that, but yes, it's Saratoga Homes
Okay.
is the developer and the builder.
Good.
Mhm.
Any other?
Sorry.
So we're not yet on the PDD portion?
Okay, then I will,
Yeah, it's coming up.
yeah, I'll save my questions for the PDD portion.
There's no other discussion. We'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
We've got a motion by Councilmember Love,
Second.
second by Councilmember Dennis. Any other discussion? Councilmember Love?
Love, yes.
Kellen, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Line item number 6, an ordinance annexing adjacent and contiguous territory to the city of Elgin, Texas, to wit, being a 23.914 acre tract of land, more or less, lying in and being situated out of the Elizabeth Standifer Survey, abstract number 59, in Bastrop County, Texas, Bastrop County Appraisal District, parcel number 39675, and being fully described in Exhibit A, attached here too, and providing for a savings clause and repealing conflicting ordinances and resolutions. Mr. Perry?
So again, this is the other tract, the sister tract to the one that you just annexed into it. This development is covering 2 different tracts. It requires 2 different resolutions of annexation into the property, but it will all be one singular development that we will talk to briefly here.
Council?
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
We have a motion by Kaznowski,
I'll second.
have a second by Love. Any other discussion? Councilmember Kaznowski?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Kellen, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes. Motion passes unanimously. Line item number 7, an ordinance assigning newly annexed properties to City Council Ward Area Number 2, providing for a severability clause and providing an effective date, providing for a savings clause, and repealing conflicting ordinances or resolutions. Mr. Perry?
Yes, this would be taking those 2 tracts that were just resoluted to be annexed in, and they would be assigning them to Ward 2. Just for a general size nature of the PDD, it's around 110, 114 homes, plus or minus, single family.
I was getting ready to ask that.
I'll make a motion as written.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Kaznowski and a second by Love. Any other discussion? Councilmember Kaznowski?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Kellen, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes. Motion passes unanimously. New item, new business number 8, an ordinance amending the official map of the city of Elgin, Texas, adopted in chapter 46, section 46-3, revised code of ordinances, city of Elgin, Texas, 2013, in making this amendment a part of said official zoning map, to wit, to rezone to PDD, Planned Development District, the properties known by Bastrop County Appraisal District as parcel numbers 39675 and 99528, totaling 28.823 acres, more or less, out of the Elizabeth Standifer Survey, abstract 59, in Bastrop County, Texas, said tracts being more described in Exhibits A and B, and providing for a savings clause and repealing conflicting ordinances and resolutions. Mr. Perry.
So this is the development, as council is aware of, zoning changes. When city staff have a negotiation with the developer, generally it is zoned as a PDD, which basically is a contract to build a certain thing a certain way that will reside with the city. So whatever within this agreement that's before you guys for approval, that'll essentially go with the land. So irregardless if the land sells, this is what that development would be for this particular property, unless it came back before council for changing for some reason or whatnot. So the agreement is basically concessions between both the city and the developer to get a development in a location or a certain type of development that we feel still fits in with what the city's vision is for a certain area of development. And this did go before P&Z, it did go through a workshop. There were 1 or 2 minor comments, which the developer did go and make those changes to represent from what P&Z recommended. And that this is essentially the final, with staff's recommendation and P&Z's, as what we feel for this particular property would be the best as zone PDD. And I am here to answer any specific questions you may have on the subdivision, but like I said, it's, I'll give broad strokes. Essentially, just over 100 homes. Single family, they are gonna be 50-foot frontage lots, which y'all's standard for R1 is 60-foot. These are 50-foot. The lot size is a little bit smaller, generally over 6,000 square feet, but what they have written into the PDD is that they will not put a 2-story home on any of the corner lots. So it'll only be single story. They provided the interconnectivity to Trinity Ranch. They provided the extension of the collector to a to-be-developed tract of land with the intent as city staff, when that land develops, we'll be looking to extend that road out to 290, which will give another ingress-egress into Trinity Ranch off of Swenson Boulevard for traffic to move throughout. It would go through this subdivision. They'll have to meet all the normal type city codes that you would from an engineering standpoint. It'll be retail service by Aqua Water Supply. It'll be sanitary sewer from the city of Elgin for this particular tract. They've gone through the trees. There's some great heritage landscape trees out there that they are going to protect as part of the development. Being in a smaller, a lot of the other things are very just standard. They'll pay the park dedication fee per lot, which is standard for a subdivision about this size. You're gonna have your sidewalks, you're gonna have your typical infrastructure, the streets are gonna be designed to city standards. And along those same lines, they'll still be required to do a TIA as it represents for their particular property and how it ties into Swenson Boulevard.
Council, questions?
Well, I got 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
One question. I'll ask one on this motion and one on the next one. So this one's gonna be serviced by Aqua,
Yes, sir.
and they do have the water.
Aqua does have the water.
Okay, so when I get to the next ordinance, I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Okay.
Yeah, so can you clarify if this is R1 or R2? Because
It is PDD.
okay,
So
So
R1,
that throws it
R2,
out.
R3 are very specific zoning. So similar to what we've done with other subdivisions, the zoning will actually be PDD.
okay,
So it's very specific. If there are variations to the code, anything that is not written down as a variation has to meet code. There's no variance that can be done. The variations they provided in the exhibit, generally, it may be a side setback, it may not be, but they're all within state code. So we make sure that we reviewed that, we make sure that we review city code, and there were no variances that they proposed on this particular development that rose to the occasion of, it wasn't something that staff or P&Z was not comfortable recommending.
okay, thanks for clarifying. So then, the other question I have is about the open space. So I see on the map, I think multi-use field, but then I also see like bioretention basin.
So for this particular development, they will be providing open space within, and if they provide amenities with that open space or not as part of the subdivision, but they will be owned by the HOA and maintained by the HOA. Won't be dedicated to the city as anything. So generally, very similar to homestead estates. If you've driven in there, they're pocket parks. As you know, with the master plan for the parks, the idea is for the city to not have pocket parks or to continue to accumulate pocket parks with development. That's one of the things that we've been instructed by council, and I think the Parks Department also wants to make sure that we do have open space that is provided out there, but we do not want it to be, we're more interested in trying to get regional parks set up through, and generally those come with larger developments. And so, yes, they are influenced, they'll pay the parkland fees, that will then can be reallocated by council at a later date to something else, but they are gonna provide open space. The bioretention pond it's basically detention. It's a different way of doing it. Some people will say, it can help with water quality and other things. I haven't seen the detailed design of it. That'll go through staff review, but there are state requirements and there are city requirements in order for that to account for it and be okay with it. But main things are, just like other subdivisions, the city will not take ownership. The city will not be out there mowing and trying to maintain those facilities.
Yeah, because I guess my, slight concern is that there's open space, but it says the project will provide 4.21 acres of public space. The open space lands and associated improvements shall be accessible to the public. The location of the park improvements will be incorporated. So basically, they're not promising that there's gonna be any sort of amenities. I mean, they could put a bench and call it amenity.
It could be just a bench. So they're meeting the open space in addition to paying the fee. Technically, we could have just paid the fee and not provided any open space. Might not exactly help themselves homes there when you're right next to Trinity Ranch with amenity center, parks and trails, but they are providing that. One thing that I did forget to mention, they are dedicating new property to the city at the request of the Public Works Department, which will potentially provide additional access to the wastewater treatment plant. If any of you guys have been out there, there's this long strip. It looks like the city owns it. It's actually part of this tract that runs along that fence. So they will be dedicating that property to the city, which will help with the buffering on the treatment plant back there, and then potentially a different access point.
Sometimes it's not easy to get there.
If you've ever been down Cleveland Street to cross there, it's a little tight.
So back to the question that Chuck asked about the aqua water.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not,
So,
why is it not RCN and
so it's not your CCN.
CCN? I'm sorry.
CCN. It is not. It is in Aquas. And as y'all recall, we do have a standing agreement. We've had a great working relationship over the last few years with Aqua. But as part of that agreement, there is not a way we both have to be in agreement, not only that they will give it up, but that we will also accept it. So they can't force a CCN upon us, and we can't take a CCN. In which case, there's always a monetary transaction. With them already providing service, and they actually have a site, if you've been there through Trinity Ranch, they actually have a booster pump station site. Aqua feels very confident in being able to provide water and would prefer to keep this CCN. And then, to be honest with you, it just never got to the point of conversation because they knew they could serve it, or from their standpoint.
And remember, we still have a wholesale water contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear that they need any kind of lift station.
No, there's a couple of nice gravity lines that they should be able to tie to. If not, we'll just take buckets and toss it over the fence
There you go.
to the aeration basin.
Any other questions, council? If not, I'll entertain a motion for line new business number 8.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Swain
I'll second.
and a second by Councilmember Love. Any other discussion? Councilmember Swain?
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Calhoun, yes.
Dennis, yes?
Frazier, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
And motion passes unanimously. New business number 9, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Elgin, Texas, consenting to the creation of a district to be known as Rivers Marketplace Municipal Management District. Owen?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, and City Manager. So what we're looking at here is basically a proposed municipal management district for the Rivers Marketplace, which is a 60-acre site, retail site That's going to be on 290, right next to the lot right next to the Whataburger. So as where Lee Dildy ends, it'll be in that 60 acres right there. So MMDs are used all over the state for financing for the private sector to do development. So this is nothing new or extravagant or anything else. So all they're asking tonight is just consent to the creation of the district. The city will have nothing to do with it. It won't affect any of our bond ratings. We won't be administering it. We won't have anything to do with it. We are currently working through a development agreement with these folks. If that development agreement falls through, then the MMD does not move forward. So what these guys want to do is start moving, get the process going for this because the folks are downstate, are in session, and they have to do it while they're in session. So I can just run through this real quick. This is the conceptual land plan, as you can see, with 290 being on the north side. You can see the pad lots out the front, new infrastructure, hotel, potential hotel. And then there's going to be 388 square feet of retail and 244 of land for the site pads at the front. So here's kind of a quick breakdown of the high-use development, mixed-use development. A Class A and B national retailers. As I mentioned, the numbers to you, 170 key hotel, minimum 3 stars, 11.4 million of public infrastructure, and then open space and parking, of course, for the retailers. So the projected direct economic impact, or the ad valorem revenues, the assessed value at build-out will be around $120 million. The annual ad valorem revenue for the city of Elgin will be close to $600,000. And the annual ad valorem revenue for other taxing jurisdictions will be about $2.2 million. So basically the objectives of the proposed financing is to balance the city concerns with the developer's objectives. We did not want to be a part of this. These guys came in and talked to us, says would the city supported MMD. So we're not going to support any kind of district at all, so they're moving forward with this and supporting it themselves. All we're doing again, as I said, is just is consenting to the actual area. So the proposed financing options are to fund costs for the infrastructure. Just go back real quick. You can kind of see the infrastructure there. To the south of that is our business park. Right now, we will be building a road actually attaching to that road on the bottom of that image you see there. So we will have a loop on 290, from 290 into this development, down through our business park, and back up through Roy Rivers Boulevard, back out where the Starbucks is, where there's a light going up now, if you guys have seen that. And again, all subject to an agreement, to agreed upon development agreement. If the development agreement doesn't happen, which I'll be bringing to you guys within the next couple of months, we'll talk about it and we'll get into detail on that. But if that development agreement doesn't happen, then the MMD does not happen. And this, let me go back here. So basically what we're asking as next steps is to adopt a resolution that supports the Roads Track River Marketplace development. Finalize negotiations for economic development agreement with the EDC, which is what we're working on right now. And then create the MMD through the TCEQ or legislator. And I will leave the guys to do that themselves, whatever way they want to set that up. And I do have Rick Rosenberg here. If you do have any more questions regarding financing or the district or anything like that. We had 20 pages here, guys. I didn't want to go through 20 pages. Wanted to give you the overview and get questions from you more than anything else. I just want to iterate again, you're only consenting to this. If we don't get a development agreement, it doesn't happen. If it does happen, the development agreement will work with the developer, of course, but the city has no stake in that MMD itself. So it's just another, I'd say, piece of paper. So if there's any questions.
Thank you, Owen. Mr. Rosenberg, would you like to say anything?
I'll put his name up so you don't forget it.
Thank you, Owen. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, Rick Rosenberg with DPFG. The MMD is a public financing mechanism created by the state. We are asking the state legislature to create it. It's either that or through the TCEQ. The city has control through the consent process, but otherwise they're not involved in the bond process, the management, the administration of the district. It'll be responsibility of the developer to take care of all those things on behalf of the project. The project will generate, as Owen mentioned, significant economic benefits, And, we're seeing more use of the MMD as a way to accelerate the construction of public infrastructure without putting a burden or an involvement for the city. There are a number of different mechanisms we work with. We're seeing an increase in the use of the MMD. We're excited about the opportunity here.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
Oh, and I got a question. Or should I say both? I got a quick question. I was reading the packet, and in this one, Aqua's gonna sell the CCN to the city, and the city's gonna take over if it goes as what I read. Is that correct?
I will leave that up to Bo.
That is a future one, is yes. The Aqua Board has approved the transfer of the CCN. Those costs are already, if you recall, this property is already under a PDD, a zoned PDD, and those costs are being paid for by the developer for that transfer of the CCN from Aqua to the city. So what'll be before council later in a couple of agenda items is the approval, just like we've done some of the other transfers.
So-
Yes, we do have the water.
Okay, so that's what I mean. So Aqua can't support the water there, we're gonna support it, but they can down the road.
Well, but you're talking about different fire.
I just want to clarify
Yeah.
that. I read all 242 pages of this. This is not gonna be in the city limits, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be in the
by
city
the
limits?
Whataburger.
Well, yeah, I know, but, okay, that's my next question. That was it.
We've already answered.
So just to clarify, because I thought we did do a PDD for this, but then, Owen, you said we're still in negotiations for a development agreement?
Yeah, well, that's completely separate than the PDD. That's more of the zoning, the PDD, when you set that up, it's going, okay, here's how it's zoned. Basically, you're not as restrictive as zoning, so you do a deal with the developer. What we're doing, what we're working with them now is as far as, can we work with them as far as costs and so on for the infrastructure?
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? I'll entertain a motion for new business item number 9.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Dennis, a second by Councilmember Gibson. Any other discussion? Councilmember Dennis?
Dennis, yes?
Frazier, yes.
Kesnowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes?
Love, yes.
Kellen, yes.
And the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question? Not to put Rick or you on the spot, and I won't hold you to it, but can you give us a timeline of when we could be shopping at those places?
Great question.
So we're in the process of going through pre-leasing and identifying retailers that would go into the property. Infrastructure ideally is to be delivered by the end of the year. And so we would anticipate for full construction to occur immediately upon horizontal being delivered.
So maybe end of '26?
I think we could start having stuff come up before that.
Okay. No, I'm not, I just, no, there was actually, somebody was asking about it today, and anyways, so just curious.
I think it's gonna be a great asset for us, it really is. It's something that we really need in the community. And these guys are great to work with, I will tell you that.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming. New business item number 10, resolution of the City of Elgin, Texas, authorizing the mayor to execute a proposal for engineering services for permitting and review of the wastewater plant 2 project and making certain findings related thereto. Mr. Gonzalez?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Hereby recommending WGA and their engineering partners for the review and permitting process for the wastewater treatment plant 2. We're moving forward in development talks with developers on the west side of Elgin, which facilitates the need for the wastewater 2 treatment plant you guys have been briefed on. And this permitting process takes quite a while, and so we're recommending WGA to get started on it immediately.
Council, any questions?
I'll make a motion
I'll second.
to accept as written.
We have a motion by Kaznowski and a second by Gibson. Any other discussion? Councilman Kaznowski?
Kesnowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes?
Love, yes.
Kellen, yes.
Dennis, yes?
Frazier, yes. Motion passes unanimously. New business number 11, a resolution of the City of Elgin, Texas, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Aqua Water Supply Company to amend the master agreement for service area and making certain findings related thereto. Mr. Gonzalez?
If you see Bo trying to walk towards the microphone, just tell him. Got this, got this. So as Bo mentioned, the Aqua Board has already authorized this move, the transfer of the CCN. This motion by council just makes it official. So we've got two geographic areas in this motion. One of them is Lund Farms, which we've already been through extensive development agreements to make sure that we capture that one. The other one is the roads tracks, which we just got passed here. It doesn't need to be said, but I'll go ahead and provide the background information. The reason why it's important for us to provide water to the roads tract is we've seen Aqua provide service in kind of a reactionary way, and the city of Elgin has made this commitment to go out ahead of it. So we just finished our final inspection, the utilities that serve this roads tract, and so we're ready to provide this service. Whereas the other way around, it would take a long time to get those engineering studies back. So we're ready to go. The Aqua Board has already approved this. This is your motion now.
Questions?
Make a motion as written.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Kaznowski and a second by Love. Any other discussion? Councilmember Kaznowski?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Kellen, yes.
Dennis, yes?
Frazier, yes. Motion passes unanimously. More announcements now, before we go into executive session. And Heather drew the short straw tonight.
Good evening. Mayor Pro Tem and council members, and trust me, I'm very nervous right now, so forgive me.
We're all friends here.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to share a couple of things that we've got right now, they're on Avenue B. From 2nd Street to Depot Street is under construction, in case you haven't noticed, so watch for the detours. And then also, I did lay out these little flyers here for the library. Coming up March 1st, from 11:30 to 3, our library will be kicking off Read Across America by celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday. And so I'm hoping, each of you have an opportunity to come by and check us out. It was really exciting last year. We had close to like 800 people come out. And so our Friends Board will be out there giving away books to the kids. We'll have arts and crafts, inflatables, vendors. We're also having story time with Elgin ISD Superintendent will be Dr. Reuter. She'll be reading for the story time. We're going to offer cupcakes with Cat in the Hat, and we'll also have yard games and chalk for outdoor activities. So I certainly would love for each of y'all to come by and see what the library is doing. And thank you so much for all of your support for our library. I appreciate every one of y'all.
It was a fun time last year. I was there.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other announcements, council? Bundle up and take care of your pipes, plants, people, all the Ps.
All the peas.
All right, with no further announcements, we're going to adjourn into executive session at 7:53. gotta wait for Isaac. Oh, yourselves. Ready? Okay, it is 9:05. We are coming back out of executive session for item 1, to discuss pursuant to section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code for real property. And we are also coming back out of executive session for number 2, section 551.074, Texas Government Code, to discuss interim city manager assignments and duties. We have no action to be taken coming out of executive session. Any other announcements, or you all good? It is 9:06, and we will adjourn the meeting.